Shalom and welcome to another in our series of podcasts from Temple Beth Am, a dynamic center for conservative Judaism in Los Angeles. This is Meditation and Mindfulness with Rabbi Adam Kligfeld.
Morning, everyone. It's a very male group today, so maybe there's some non-males who are watching on Facebook Live or will be listening on the podcast later. Good morning from Temple Beth Am in Los Angeles to those who are here in my office. Good morning to those who are joining via Zoom. Hello to anyone who is watching on Facebook Live, and hello to anyone who might be listening to this as part of the Temple Beth Am podcast series. One of the more interesting verses in Parshat Yitro, which is the parsha that we're in, is the one that seems to play around if we take the words literally with what we would understand to be the way senses operate. Vayiru amet hakolot. People, ra'u, saw the kolot, and kolot are sounds. The people saw the sounds. People saw the voices. If you grew up in southern Connecticut like I did, it makes sense because you can see a sound, the Long Island sound. But if you didn't grow up there, it does make you ask what's going on in that verse. The easy way out is say, yeah, kolot can mean sounds, but it can also mean the thing that makes the sound. So they saw the thunder which produced the sound. And they weren't actually seeing the thunder, they were seeing, what the clouds look like when thunder comes. But that's an easy way out. There's a wonderful comment by Rabbi Yosef Bechor Shor, who was a medieval French commentator, who says something kind of oddly modern, almost as if he understood deep neuroscience, almost as if he listened to Sam Harris's podcasts, although he lived 700 years ago. He says there are two ways of understanding this verse. The first is there's a miracle. Like, we're in the presence of miracles. God split the sea. If God can split the sea, if God can take us out of Egypt, if God can turn water into blood, then God can make us see a sound. What's so hard about that? So first thing he says to the reader is, stop being so damn rational. Right? A miracle occurred. So, and the way that senses normally operate got changed in a moment of God's bursting forth from the other realm into ours. But his second answer is very pre-modern. He basically says that sight and sound, hearing, and knowing are all the same thing. That all of it is a different way in which the human being perceives reality, but it's all about the mind. It's all about what you're actually doing with it. So your eyes is one way for stimuli to enter your brain and to make an impact. You ever get meta and start getting in your head about what actually reading is? Like, your brain is changing because you looked at the shapes of something on a piece of paper. Because if we think that knowledge is a real thing, and if you know something now that you didn't know before, that your brain is literally differently, you're looking at something, but you're knowing it. But what's actually happened, it's a very weird thing if you get philosophical about what reading is, right? Same thing with hearing. Like, you tell me something. The whatever is happening in those cochlear coils heard your voice say something. I'm a different human being as a result, because our brain changes based on what we know. How could it not? Because otherwise everyone would know the exact same thing. And he's saying something similar, that, yeah, you can think of it as if sight and hearing and knowledge are different things. They're all operating in the same realm. And is it possible that there is a place in which we, even in this world, can cross lanes and can transfer understanding of senses? And the things which you think you can only see, you can actually hear. And the things that you think you can only hear, you can actually see. And that all of that is about yidiyah, knowledge. It's a very interesting thing for a 14th or 15th century, maybe 13th century sage to say. And I actually think it is an interesting challenge for the person of mindfulness to kind of both separate and also fuse at the same time the way our mind responds and is open to stimuli and then turns it into knowledge and newness, and something that can be fodder for whatever it is that we're working on as a human being. But it's a little heady, and I get a little bit less heady in the meditation, but that's the Torah that I wanted to base it on. So with that in mind, if you haven't already, I invite you all to close your eyes. Close your eyes, and if you haven't done this already today, hear your own mind say the words Modeh Ani, grateful am I, for this moment. By hearing your mind say those words, you're a different person already. Today has changed already. Feel the beginning of the release of toxins, just the yuck seeping out of your consciousness and your body. See if you can separate a little bit from your own body and observe from a place of slight remove that you are entering into a mindful zone. Don't just let it happen, but watch it happen. And be curious about that happening. Try to feel every aspect of the process of breathing. The feeling and even faint odor of the air coming through your nose. Sensing its temperature and how it changes as it enters your body. The slight whir as it leaves your mouth. And the rise and the fall of your chest. And the interplay of your diaphragm. And all of the marvel that surrounds and is required for the simple and utterly profound action of breathing. However tired you may be at the end of the week, don't aim towards slumber in this moment. Aim towards wakefulness. Aim towards aliveness. The way into our verse with your eyes closed. Explore what you are seeing. Are you actually seeing it? If not, what are those images in your brain? The light and the dark, the colors, the kaleidoscope that is shifting. Are you seeing these sights or thinking these sights? Is there a difference? And for anything that you hear, can you try to visualize it? Can you transfer subtly Shmiya to Ri'ya, hearing to seeing, all of which funnels into Yidiyah, knowing. I hear the whoosh of a car on the street behind me. Now I see it. And I know that it was there. Vayar kol ha'am et hakolot. People at the moment of revelation saw what can be seen and also saw what can be heard. Knowledge and truth penetrated their consciousness through every sense and through cross senses. You challenge yourself to skip over the step of sensing and go straight to knowing. In this little quiet moment, be a loud moment of revelation, where you are seeing things that are usually only heard. And you're visualizing that which is usually obscured to the eye. And you are listening to the sights around you. And you are knowing that you are you, that you are well, that you are in a position to reveal and to accept. That you can taste somewhere deep in your neshama that radical sensing, openness, and knowing. That was the revelation at Sinai. Vayar kol ha'am et hakolot. for this moment, this place, this infusion of senses. Say the closing meditation prayer together 3 times. May we and all beings have happiness in the causes of happiness. May we all be free of suffering in the causes of suffering. May we all experience true happiness that has no taint of suffering. May we live in great equanimity, free from burdening attachment to loved ones and contempt for others, but rather with compassion for all. May we and all beings have happiness in the causes of happiness. May we all be free of suffering in the causes of suffering. May we all experience true happiness that has no taint of suffering. May we live in great equanimity, free from burdening attachment to loved ones and contempt for others, but rather with compassion for all. May we and all beings have happiness in the causes of happiness. May we all be free of suffering in the causes of suffering. May we all experience true happiness that has no taint of suffering. And may we live in great equanimity, free from burdening attachment to loved ones and contempt for others, but rather with compassion for all.
You have been listening to another in our series of podcasts from Temple Beth Am, a dynamic center for conservative Judaism in Los Angeles. If you enjoy these podcasts, we invite you to write a review on the Apple Podcast site or wherever you get your podcasts. For more information about Temple Beth Am Los Angeles, go to tbala.org.